Evening or good afternoon. You know who this is by now. This is the DOUG here. Once again for a video game review, and I am using the webcam again. Now before I continue, I know a lot of people are upset that I use my webcam because it's, not proper. But I need to say something. I don't have the proper equipment like everybody else has because the economy sucks, okay? And you gotta choose between putting food on the table and taking care of bills, or equipment. Bills and food are gonna win every freaking time. And I suck at Galaga. 31 hits. Well, anyway, as many of you know, since you can tell by I will be reviewing Tekken 1, expect Tekken 2 and Tekken 3 to be up as well. If you are actually able to lock double in Tekken 1 for completing the Galaga minigame, you have to, I believe, shoot all the aliens, I believe is what it is. So, yay for that. Hey look, Jackie Chan. By the way, Devil would be the Heihachi's final boss. Now, of course, I am playing Tekken on the PlayStation 3 from my PlayStation disc. Tekken came out in 1995, believe it or not, in North America. It was released in Japan, though, in 1994. Tekken would come to the PlayStation on October 11th, 1995. So ain't that awesome, boys and girls? And it would also come to the PSN in 2011. Now, pretty much this is all the modes you have in Tekken 1. Arcade mode, versus mode, and test mode. Let's just take a look at test mode. You had the records, run button, time record, wins, and characters. You also had the memory card, which that's self-explanatory. Now for this, I'm going to put it on easy just because of the fact of I really don't want to spend too much time on this. And I still expect to lose anyway just because I'm not as good as I used to be. By the way, that's the controls. Very self-explanatory on that one. Alright, let's go to arcade mode, folks, and then I will continue talking about Tekken. Start. Alright, here are the main characters. You got the original 8 characters. Yoshimitsu, Nina, Law, Kazuha, John Cena, Paul Phoenix, Jack, King, and Michelle. Now for me, I like using King. He's one of my one of my 3 boys. The third one would not be introduced till Tekken 3, but that's later. By the way, that you can actually pause it in this one, which you cannot do in the arcade. So just a heads up for that. Now I have it on pause, as you can see in the bottom right hand corner, Stadium. Tekken 1 would actually have the names of the locations displayed in the bottom of the right screen, so that does help a bit. Now this was different from the fighting games, unlike the other ones, big at the time, Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, because you actually had to pay attention to knowing what you're doing. Whereas Street Fighter, hey, if you know how to use Ryu, you can pretty much win with Ken. Mortal Kombat was also a little bit tougher though than Street Fighter because Mortal Kombat you actually had to remember the moves list better. But that is my opinion on it. I'm sure other people would disagree. Now, as you can tell, this does have a familiar look to another fighting game, Virtua Fighter, because of the polygons. The only thing missing is the ring out. And as you can tell, the camera does change. By the way, this is a baseball stadium, just in case anybody wanted to know. And there goes the perfect. So screw you, Yoshimitsu. Now, playing this game, you would either want a few things. Perfect, if you didn't lose any health. If your character is almost knocked out but you win the match, you feel great. Well, as if you double KO and KO, you could also hear a draw. Now, there were endings to this game, believe it or not, and you will see King's ending in this. And hey, look, Triple H's move. Anyway, the secret characters who, unequally enough, the arcade mode, in the arcades, I should say, you cannot play as the sub-boss and the final boss. On PlayStation versions, you can. But, you know, they were pretty much copies of whoever the person who they fought. You know, like Armor King is pretty much a copy of King, or etc. Now, the story pretty much is Heihachi Mishima. Yeah, I can't pronounce his last name. I think a lot of people can't. Is one of the undefeated fighting champs. At the beginning, he knocks out his 5-year-old son, Kaz, off a cliff. Yeah, I know it's long, but I don't care. To see if he really is his son, will he climb up the cliff? So that pretty much is what the story is. Now, ironically enough, they would use this story for an animated movie for Tekken, which combined Tekken 1 and 2 respectively, which we will get to that. And a little bit of 3 at the ending, but I ain't going to spoil the movie that much. Now, Kaz will have the devil appear before him in his grave and pavement, offering Kaz the opportunity to regain strength and power so that he can have his revenge on his dad. Only if Kaz himself was willing to give up his soul towards this. Which, as we know, he did. 21 years later, he actually now owns the big old company that's pretty much been in every game of the Tekken franchise. Goodbye, Lord. And this would be the first of the King of the Iron Fist tournament. And pretty much the main ending they would use to go in the part 2, and I will explain part 2 when we get to Tekken 2, is Kaz wins it. But that's here nor there. Now, of course, the secret characters for this game were Anna Williams, Armor King, which we'll see very soon, Double Kaz, which was an unlockable costume for Kaz in the home version, and Heihachi's final boss. The sumo wrestler and Heihachi, Kumstada, Lee, Prototype Jack, and Wang. But first, we gotta fight Paul before we can get to King, aka John Cena. Kidding, of course. Now, like I said there, this would be very well. This is like one of the granddaddies of the fighting game genre back in the day. And as you can see, yes, even on easy, I still lose just because it's bound to fucking happen. Yes, I'm going to continue with King. Oh boy, this could be a while, folks. Paul was usually the one that usually got me messed up anyway. Vertical suplex. Hopefully I did not fool Miz. And if you are wrestling fans, know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I lose. Continue. Anyway, you know, graphically, compared to now, it probably is not as good as it was back then. But the soundtrack is still very good, and the characters are still memorable. I mean, that's why we're on Tekken. That's why the last Tekken game was Tekken Tag Tournament 2, which came out on the PlayStation Network, which I did own. And this could take a while, folks. Like I said, I'm a bit rusty on my Tekken a bit. At least Tekken 1 and Tekken 2, respectively. Hey, look, a perfect. At least I got that. Anyway, yeah. As you saw in the opening, like I said, if you complete the Galaga, shoot every ship, you get a secret double version. Yippee. Ironically enough, Tekken 1 would also see a few more releases anywhere in Chicago. I must be facing CM Punk, apparently. Now, the PlayStation 2 version of this, yes, there was a PlayStation 2 of this, of actually 2 versions. Ow, Hunnigan, run up, bitch. Ow. Like I said, the PlayStation 2 version of this on Tekken 5 features the arcade version of Tekken, being an emulated version of its arcade counterpart, as well as the other 2 that were included in the arcade history mode. Damn it, I hate that Hunnigan runner sometimes. Not today. Screw you, CM Punk. Also in 2005, Namco would re-release Tekken as a part of the Namco collection for the PlayStation 2 to celebrate the company's 50th anniversary. Now this is the last boss in this game, Heihachi, and believe me, he is a pain in the ass. Even on easy, he can be a bitch, as you can see. Now pretty much, Tekken 1, I cannot remember the special moves. If you can, great for you. For me though, I cannot, just because out of the ones for the PlayStation 1, it's the one I don't play the most. I usually stick to Tekken 3, as you will see later this week. Tekken 3 is my best game. And this is going to take a while, folks. Anyway, come on, Heihachi. Be cooperative. People want to see the ending of this. Suplex, yay, finally. Ironically enough, some Tekken characters would not return depending on who they were, depending on how well they were liked and well received, and some would even get a rehashing, like with King and Armor King respectively. Heihachi, come on, let me grab you. Oh, God. I really feel embarrassed right now. I apologize, guys. I was not expecting it to be this tough when I did my test run of this yesterday. And there we go. I'll let the ending play out for you guys. Good job, King. Okay, you can tell those Polygon kids are so bad CGI, but hey, back then, people really did not care. Now, like I was saying, some characters would change throughout the history of the game, depending on their look, or change how their character was throughout the series. Like with Jack, he'd go from Jack to Jack 2 and have Gun Jack and many other versions. There was actually be two Kings, like I said, King 1 and King 2 respectively. So yeah, and of course you had Prototype Jack, Jack 4, Jack 5, Jack 6, and Jack X, who would be released along with his partner Brian Fury on Street Fighter X Tekken. Now, but of course with that being said, Jack 2 would also, many people forget that Jack 2 would appear in the Tekken motion picture. And he was also in Jack 6 a little bit in Tekken Blood Vengeance, if anybody remembers that one, because God knows I do. And oh look, I can enter, I'm just going to enter my numbers for PSN, 6, 1, 9. So 4 minutes and 55, that's not bad. Yeah. That's pretty much Tekken 1, guys. Really not much to talk about and show off because, well, that's pretty much it. So yeah, that's Tekken 1, guys, in a nutshell. Let me know what you think of Tekken 1 or the Tekken franchise. Do you love the Tekken franchise, or do you hate it, and why? I've already seen that, and just to prove that you could play as the different characters, there's Armor King. So we're just going to mess around with him a little bit before I go. Yeah, so that's Tekken 1, guys, in a nutshell. My final score for Tekken, I give it a 4 out of 5. Definitely a good game. Granddaddy of the fighting genre. Definitely would recommend it. If you wanted to find the old rich, you can either find it on disc, relatively cheap, unless, of course, somebody's a reseller, or you can get it from the PlayStation Store, which would not be a bad idea. And like I said, pretty much in Tekken 1, everybody was a carbon copy of the, you know, sub-boss, you know. So until next time when I see you for Tekken 2 and Tekken 3 and anything else, or in case if you are subscribed to me, you will be seeing my NFL special, my predictions for the off season, and my Elimination Chamber pay-per-view picks. This is the DOUG signing off saying, have a good Monday. Oh, no, it's Tuesday. Have a good Tuesday, and enjoy the rest of your week, guys. Peace out.